What's up, everybody? It's the Arty 84 show, episode 204. No guests tonight, but we have, of course, Adam the Mallet to the left of me at
What's up,
his
everybody?
Blockbuster video. Tonight, I'll be drinking a Brooklyn Black Ops. It's a one of these $20 beers that come in a giant little thingy-majiggy.
Yeah. Have you ever had that one?
I have not, actually. I've purchased this one for several people. I've never tried it myself. Have you tried it?
I've never had that one, no.
It's a stout aged in 4 roses bourbon barrel. It should be interesting. It's my wife said don't finish the whole entire thing because she thought it was a bottle of wine. I go, no, it's beer. I go, this is like a beer and a half, but it's 13% alcohol.
Nice.
So hey, watch this. It's New Year's Eve, Adam. Watch out. Come on. Oh, fucking pussy.
The monitor breaks. Oh, that was very anticlimactic. That womp.
I got this glass here from the Black Dog restaurant in Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, yep.
Guess how much this cost me?
I'm gonna go on the high end because you're on a fucking island. I'm gonna say 25.
How about free? Because we stole it from the restaurant.
Oh well, there you go. If you did have to buy it,
it was probably like $10, something like that.
Really?
Maybe, I don't know. I was pretty intoxicated, and I accidentally walked out of the restaurant with the glass in my hand and didn't realize it, and no one stopped me.
Yeah.
And I got to like the road, and she was like, "What the hell you have in your hand?" I go, "Oh shit!" For some reason, just because I was on an island, I forgot. I thought I was like in Vegas. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I got a nice little glass. I figured this would be a perfect glass to drink this $20 beer in.
Well, sometimes you said you just walked out with it. Sometimes how is it?
It's good. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not it's not like a chugging beer, but it's a nice, very flavorful, if you will.
Well, walking out with it and not being sneaky about it sometimes is the best way to go about it. Because sometimes things look so obvious that they don't put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
I learned that actually a long time ago from my dad. The biggest thing I ever stole was a skateboard out of a store, and
Pretty impressive.
Well, it is because the thing is, I got the idea from my dad because he was telling me when he was younger, he used to work in retail, and these guys stole a kayak. Okay. And I'm like, how do you steal a kayak? And my dad was like, these guys just picked it up and walked out the door with it. It was so obvious that he's like, I saw them walk by me too, but no one stopped them because it was just so obvious. And I always remembered that story. And as a teenager, I was like, that's a good idea. So that's exactly what I did in Caldor. I cut the straps out of the box, right? A regular size, and I just tucked it under my arm, and I just walked out the door with it like it was mine.
No one said anything. Yeah.
No one said a shit. Yeah.
That's like it's basically what they're doing in San Francisco right now, but they don't even have to be casual about it. They're just breaking the window of a Louis Vuitton and just going there and stealing everything.
Yeah, I guess the word on the street there is like in California, like if what was stolen isn't more than a total of like $500, like don't call the police.
I heard it was even more. I heard it was up to 1,000, and I heard that that's why, because the DA is not prosecuting any crimes over less than $1,000, and there's obviously not a lot of police officers who are going to be able to, because they're growing in gangs. You see them, like the 30 people show up at a Louis Vuitton, smash the window, they'll go in there and steal everything.
It's so fucked up. Like, we need police. Like we have to have police.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what good will come from not having police.
Yeah, let's defund the police. It's fucking stupid.
Let's defund the fire department. That's like saying like I had a house, right?
Defund the fire department.
And the fire department didn't get there fast enough, so let's defund the entire fire department. You know what I mean? It's like you have one bad apple in the bunch, right? So of all of them bad apples, I'm friends with a lot of police officers. They're just frustrated because it's like when it gets, especially in Suffolk County, the DA doesn't like to prosecute lots of criminals for some reason, and just lets them go. So like you do all this work to like apprehend a bad guy, and then you expect it to go through the process, and then they just let them out, and then they go and do another crime. So it's like, it's like telling your kid no, and he keeps on doing it, but you don't discipline him, and he just keeps on doing the same shit that you don't want him to do over again. So, I mean, nothing good comes from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's always going to be a few, but the problem is when there's a bad apple, that's what gets highlighted in the news, and that's what everybody sees because everybody.
But like, what's the percentage, right? Like, how many cops are there in the world? Say there's 1,000 cops in the country, right? Was it one a bad? You know what I mean? In that percentage, maybe not even less. Stupid.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's funny that the people who want to defund the police are the criminals, right? I mean, that seems a little obvious, right? That's like the arsonists want to defund the fire department.
And people who think that like we live in a world where like the world is Disney and we can trust everybody to like just behave. You kidding me?
Well, like the city of Cambridge wanted to get rid of police officers doing traffic stops and having ordinary citizens doing the traffic stops. That will work until yeah, this was a proposal last summer where they were going to say we're not going to have the police department do traffic stops and anything that has to do with transportation. We're going to hire people to be like social workers who are going to like, excuse me, can you please pull over? Unarmed people for that matter too. So that's always good. I don't think that had much pull to it. But, we live in a society these days, what can I say? It doesn't really, hasn't affected me. So I'm in the kind of the park where like, yeah, it sucks, but it hasn't affected me yet. So there's nothing I can do about it. So
it's true.
You know what I mean?
I try not to be tone deaf because none of this stuff is affecting me. And in terms of, we hear about the new Omicron variant and stocks tumbling.
Are you excited?
God,
coming to a CVS near you, Omicron.
I know, right? It's got a cool ass name.
Omicron, like a Transformer movie.
Yeah, just
they're gonna get you.
Transformers 5. Omicron.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, it frustrates me. It depresses me because I'm like, it's just it brings you more to the realization that this shit is never gonna end.
Well, they don't want it to end. That's the reason. I mean, it could end. It could already be ended. It could. Then they didn't even have to be started.
I know.
It's
depressing.
There's certain people that just want it to go on and on and on and on. It's like it's like the Fast and the Furious movies. They just get worse and worse.
Well, there's only 2 more of those. At least.
Yeah, that's what you think. That's what they said.
Well, no, they're still gonna have spin-offs, but like the main franchise is coming to an end too.
And then by the time it ends, they're gonna reboot Fast and the Furious 1 with a whole new cast, and they're just gonna live it again. It's gonna be like Don's like cousin.
Well, I know it's kind of a topic, but like Fast and the Furious. Have you ever seen the movie Point Break?
Yeah. With the robbers that put the mask on and
the Fast and the Furious is Point Break.
Basically, yeah.
It is Point Break.
Except they're surfing dude.
Yeah. Cars for surfing. It's the only difference. Like you have these criminals, an infiltrator who's a cop. It's the same fucking movie.
Basically the same idea. So yeah, so like it's people. I like to think that like you and I mean, granted, we and you aren't the most intelligent people in the world, right? But I don't say we're not the stupidest people in the world. I think we're above average, right, with our knowledge and stuff.
I always say it depends what the topic is.
Oh yeah, depending on the topic, but like general knowledge, right? General stuff. Like, and we both know that, like, for example, like a virus or anything of that nature, anything that multiplies will dilute itself, right? Because it's the law of anything, right?
It wants to survive. It's going to evolve to survive.
Yeah.
Kill you.
Yeah. Correct. So it just wants to make more of it so it survives, even though it's not as strong, right? It's not as potent.
It's an organism. It wants
Correct.
to live. It's fucked up that they can actually have intelligence like that.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. It's so weird, right?
And you can even go on the limb and saying that the reason, it's the COVID is basically the same idea as the flu, but it's more potent. But you could go in the argument that maybe because it was manipulated in a lab, that's why it was more potent, right? So it's like shooting a steroid in a flu virus, right? And make it a little more powerful. But eventually evolution will take its course and it will just dilute itself because it's an unsustainable molecule. Like I said, I was trying to tell my wife, I go, if the humans have been on this planet for hundreds of thousands, how long do you think humans have been on the earth? Millions of years?
I feel like every year, every like 5 or 10 years or so, that time frame seems to keep jumping. They don't even fucking know.
No one knows, right? Yeah. So you would think at this time we would have run our course with a virus that was going to kill. Like unless something came from another planet that came here that took us out. I feel like the human beings as a natural species on this planet have been able to adapt to certain things, and for the most part, survival of the fittest. So it gets rid of the sick and the elderly. I know it sounds cruel and terrible, but
the textbook answer to what you're asking is 6 million years.
Okay, so 6 million years. So over the course of 6 million years, you would have thought that something would have taken us out by now. I mean,
well, there have been moments where in recorded history where it came close, like because you still have to have like a couple 100,000 people to survive to actually ignite the population again. Like there have been close times where that's come close.
Well, you had the Black Plague back in, was it the 1400s, and that had to do with like poop in the streets, like people just pumping rats and stuff, right? And then the Spanish flu in the early turn of the century, but that wasn't quite as crazy as people make it out to be. I mean, and then you get AIDS in the 80s, which
no, that's not been, that's not extinction of it. According to
that could have been a lot dangerous,
there have been 5 major incidents where humans came close to extinction.
Okay, and viral or just anything in general?
I'm diving into this.
The top 5 list of how of humans almost died. Number 5.
Well, that was just a quick Google answer, but
does it give you like a breakdown?
So there was one point. This is even before humans were here.
Okay.
Exclusively could have been Homo sapiens. Like we could have been somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Another species could have dominated, and we could have not evolved.
Dinosaurs.
The Big Chill, 150,000 years ago, we were almost all frozen to death.
Big Chill. It could be like the Big Cheese.
70,000 years ago, the Toba explosion.
Ooh, what's that?
I have volcanic eruption. Yep, that can block out the sun, kill crops.
Dust. Yep. Can't grow shit. Yeah, understandable. Yep.
That's
can't feed the crops.
But that like knocks the population on those down. The thing is too, the populations then weren't as dense, so the kill count would be a lot fucking higher.
Yeah,
I mean, now it would be horrible.
No, they will be, but the percentage of survival will probably be high though, because you figure, okay, for example, the volcano you said that went up and blocked the sun and all that bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Look at it this way: we have established ways to grow crops indoors. We've been growing weed indoors for the last 10 years for a situation, right? To use recreation. I can't say that word, recreational. But so you would think if a volcano had erupted, right, for some reason, and it's taken out the sun. Say we're not going to have the sun for a year, right, because of this thing. We have all these indoor facilities that we could just basically produce artificial sunlight to grow. I mean, people will die. There's no doubt about that.
We have trouble feeding the planet already. So
yeah, but we're like, I think we're advanced enough at this point to be able to adapt to a situation like, it would be terrible. We would really have to make sacrifices, but I don't think it's like an extinction type thing nowadays. Maybe 70,000 years ago it was, but like now I think it would be very tough, other than an asteroid flying at astronomical speeds at this planet to take us out of orbit and just really destroy the planet in a horrific way, kind of like the dinosaurs did.
Yeah,
it would be really tough to take out living species, right?
I would hope.
You'd hope. Yeah.
I would really hope. We're talking the volcano thing.
There's 3 things I'm scared of.
Yeah.
I'm scared of an asteroid. I'm scared of aliens. I'm scared of the Chinese. Mm-hmm. I think they all could take us out very easily.
Well, I'm more scared of the Chinese out of all 3 of those right now. I mean,
probably
the aliens would have done it already, and I'm convinced the aliens have been visiting us for thousands of years already. So
maybe they're amongst us. Maybe that's why George at Work acts so weird. Maybe he's a fucking alien.
Maybe. I'm convinced they've been here. I'm convinced that they might have even created us. But they would have done it already. And if they were gonna decide to wipe us clean, they wouldn't do it so like barbaric. Like they would put, like I said before, they would probably put a gas in the air and we'd all just die off. Because if you're gonna blow shit up like Independence Day, it's messy. But
why would they kill us? Like, what would their benefit to be to kill us? We're not any threat to them.
Experiment ended.
Maybe, I guess so. But yeah, I mean that could be it as well. But I would think as us as humans, if we went to a planet and we came across another species, I would hope we would try to engage in a peaceful manner to try to understand what they're, to learn. We wouldn't be hostile.
We might have already done that. They might have already done that, and then we thought they were gods.
And then they came back and fucked us up.
They thought that's kind of the ancient astronaut theory where that did happen. And these things came down and we're like, oh my God, they're gods, but really they were freaking aliens.
How do you feel about, there was like this thing about people with hazel eyes are really aliens?
Oh, I'm an alien? Okay.
Well, you have a species, you're in your gene pool years and years and years, you have a relative. Because I also have hazel eyes. And I knew a girl that had hazel eyes years ago. And we
all
had this
fucking weird.
Her and I had this discussion. I was really, really hammered one night, and I had just watched this thing on History Channel, the Ancient Aliens, and they talked about how the hazel eye color is not a natural color for the humans. It's an oddity, it's a kind of like the redheaded gene that makes people redheads and the kind of albino-ish, right? And the theory is that the Greys, which are the alien forms, had years ago impregnated people of the human species, and the hazel gene has some kind of spawned to your ancient relatives of being aliens. Now, is that true? I don't know. But science says you can't have hazel eyes. It's impossible.
I don't know about that because I'm looking at how you can get hazel eyes right now.
Okay.
On allaboutvision.com.
Adam, you and I would be aliens or have relatives that are aliens.
I think we're all the aliens, actually. I think we're all the aliens.
Do you think maybe like an alien species had shot their molecules into space and just landed on this planet, and we would just happen to be the right combination for this thing to spawn?
Funny you should mention that. That theory is called Panspermia,
which
has actually gained traction over the decades, which makes sense because they've actually proven that bacteria can actually survive on an asteroid. Because while the outside of it does get hot, on the inside of it actually can stay relatively cool.
Okay.
Right. So if you have like all this shit floating around the universe and stuff going in, it's possible that the bacteria, once it slams into another planet, could populate.
Oh, for sure. I have no. I 100% think I'm a big science guy, and I like to. I'm not like Felty who says I am science, but I do believe in science, and I do believe that there is a possibility that because it's not because it's like that theory is a great theory because for example, say you were a species that was in a planet that was ready to go bye-bye, right? You knew thousands and millions of years away. You just shoot out these things, like you said, and they were able to kind of maintain.
They can survive in space too. A lot of these bacteria are very resilient.
And then they hit a certain place, and they say they hit Earth, and Earth was just the right combination. But maybe there's another Earth. Maybe there's like Earth 2 that's like in a whole nother galaxy somewhere. That there's people like maybe you and I are doing a show right now on Earth 2, except I'm on the left and you're on the right, and I have glasses, and you have a scully cap on.
And Henry's my kid.
And Henry's my kid.
Boo. No, I don't believe it. I believe in aliens. I don't believe in grays, though. I find that.
Yeah, I mean, I say that comically. Like, I don't think.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why I don't believe in gray aliens is because if you look back through the histories, like you don't really see any reported cases of gray aliens until the Benny and Barney Hill case. Which but that's like the classic. What was that, Maine? What year was that? Betty and
yeah, it was the 60s.
Yeah, I just want to get an exact date. 1961.
Yeah. Okay.
So like before, you didn't really hear any reports of gray aliens until then, and ever since then, like you start hearing more about that. I believe because I think, well, a lot of people are like, well, it'd be very unlikely that they'd be humanoid, like shaped like us, which is true because I mean, what are the odds of another species being humanoid unless they created us?
True. Correct. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that they probably look like, if they are, they look like us, but a little bit off.
So, well, how about this? Do you believe in the theory of evolution that we evolved from like chimps and monkeys and then became?
I believe we were helped. I think that could have been how it started.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then something came along to enhance that.
To advance the species.
Yeah, because you have this mega fucking leap in our records.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like we've gone like from 0 to 100. It's not like all the other species. Look at like other species that have been on this earth that almost is even longer than us. You don't see fucking alligators or turtles or alligators
swimming around.
Yeah, they doing calculus.
Mine's 25 years old. He might be doing calculus. He looks at me funny every time I see him.
Right, but it's true. I mean, we've evolved so fast on a level that it's like. And the fact that we haven't gotten picked off and killed, because it's like we can't run as fast. There are other creatures that can. We can't see as good. There are other creatures that can do better than that. We can't fly. We can't jump as high. How do we survive to even being 10 years old? Blows my mind, right?
I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, the way you look at it, holy shit.
Like if it was just you born this in a vacuum, no mother, how would you survive to 10 without being killed?
We have no natural defenses.
Nothing. We were not lethal at all. We don't have claws. No. We don't have venom.
Opposable thumbs. I guess.
But no venom. But you would be eventually be able to learn how to make fire and weapons. Yes, but like
so in theory, we should be able to fly, shoot venom.
Have claws. Wow.
Wow. You just fucking blew my mind right there. Now I'm like, wow, how do we survive? Yeah, how did that happen?
Like
unless we were helped.
Yeah.
Do you think we're like it's now we're gonna go really deep. Do you think all of us on this planet are basically the stuff we do every day, this podcast, the work we do during the day, the food shopping we do, the pumping of the gas into our vehicles, the driving around, somehow all our activity benefits another species? Like us being like maybe like we're an ant farm. Remember, like you ever kid have an ant farm?
Oh yeah.
And you sit there and you watch the ants, they dig, and you sit there and you're fascinated, like, wow, that's pretty cool. Look, he's moving the maybe we're a giant ant farm to another.
It's possible, and that's why I wonder too if this species is out there and they come here and they wanted to talk to us, would we even understand? Would they be so beyond us? Would it be like us talking to an ant?
It could be. Yeah, it would be like if me and you had a conversation with an insect, and the insect would look like we were fucking stupid. Yeah, perhaps we're like a Truman Show for the aliens.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't intervene with anything that goes on this planet because they like to see the conflict. They like to see it. To them, it's like watching the TV show, like us interfering with the Russians and the Chinese. Like it's like, wow, this could go bad.
Yeah.
And did you think? Here's a good one. If it came to a point where like World War III, all of us have nuclear weapons, us, India, Brazil, China, Russia, France, England, all have nuclear weapons, all pointed at each other. Kind of like that scene in Reservoir Dogs when they all had a gun to them, right? Do you think the aliens would just go, okay, guys,
shut the
fuck up? Right? It would be like, oh, okay.
I don't know, but there are reports and videos of reports of I don't know if the videos are real, but I've seen reports. There have been very good reports of aliens around or saucers or UFOs, UAPs, now they call them, around military installations that have shut down our missile silos. Like it's almost like they're saying, "Don't fucking do this."
Yeah.
I don't think that they're hostile either, only because I've said this before. I truly believe that a species, unless it's an AI, we used to say these creatures aren't artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah.
But if they are organisms like us, I would believe that they're peaceful, because in order to have that level of technology, you're more likely to kill each other first before developing it enough to actually get here, because you're fucking advanced.
And
right?
Well, into the fact that like they have no reason for us, because like you figure they could have already taken all our minerals and all our shit that they needed already easily, thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago, and they wouldn't even have to develop us. Like maybe you're right. Maybe we are an experiment. Maybe they were like, let's see what we could do with this. And maybe they, like you said, they were over the military bases, and because like it's weird that, knock on wood, after Hiroshima and fucking World War II and Nagasaki and dropping bombs, it's kind of like that was like, you think maybe there was a visit, maybe there was like a conversation done.
Well, so here's the thing: after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, sightings actually multiplied by since then. The sightings jumped. Before Hiroshima and Nagasaki, sightings they existed, but they weren't what they are now. And then that happened. And a lot of UFOologists kind of believe that was the moment where it's like, oh, the kids found the matches. And then we became way more, they wanted to observe us even more. Like, whoa, they discovered nuclear fusion. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They're growing up. They're evolving.
But get them back into shape.
Yeah. No, it's,
we had an interesting conversation today about George Bush Sr. and how he was the head of the CIA and all the shit that he knew, that he was probably, I would say there's probably no other president that probably knew as much as he knew, because no other president really was involved in such secret operations as he was, because frankly, the president doesn't know shit, right? They literally give him enough information. Like Trump didn't know anything, Biden doesn't know anything, Obama doesn't know anything, W didn't know anything. George Sr. knew some shit because he was in the CIA, and he was Reagan's vice president, but he never told Reagan anything. You know what I mean? So, and there was no reason to.
No.
And he died of secrets, unless he wrote them in a little journal somewhere and he slipped them under the mattress somewhere, you know. But like when you think about it, it's like, well, how much do they know that even our own leaders don't even know? And now, if a UFO came down and landed right on the White House lawn, and a guy came out and was like, "Here's the deal," right? Like, what the fuck would happen? And like, does it happen? And they don't tell the people because they don't know how we'll react. Because look how we react to shit.
Sadly, I don't think anybody gives a fuck, and that's sad. Because I mean, I think they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. We have fucking video now from the fucking Pentagon that has no explanation whatsoever. And you watch how these things move, okay? And you could say, okay, maybe it's some kind of weapon from another country. Maybe it is. But remember, the speeds that these are moving at, that these crafts are moving at, you don't even have to just know the propulsion. You have to also build the material so it doesn't just fly apart or kill the person inside of it.
Physics. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. Newton's 3 laws.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not just the speed. It's the material you use. It's the what's inside. Maybe it's nobody's inside. I don't know.
Air density, power supply, fuel, acceleration. Things that we have just when we see military weaponry, like for example, like an F-14 or what's an F? What's the fighter?
F-16.
F-16. They are really aren't built like a regular airplane where they have like the same aerodynamics, which the lift to lift them up. They just jets that fly like cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
But when you think about what the aliens could have, like what the fuck, like so you know where I work. At night,
I know. Oh, I know you work.
Yeah, I know where I work today.
You know where I work.
I'm friends with a lot of pilots, and if anyone sees shit going in the sky, it would be a pilot. And I've had a few pilot friends say they had seen shit that they can't explain.
Yeah.
And the way that the skies are so secure with like radar, like there's not any point of time when no one knows where a plane is in the sky. And I showed you, I don't know if I showed you that map of the air with all the planes flying in the sky above us at one point in time. So
but I've seen something similar to
that.
I know.
And I have the app on my phone. I could show you like at any given time over Boston, there's planes at different levels flying, and they're all controlled. They're not just rogue planes. Someone knows where that plane is at all time, at least one person, right? So you figure if you're in the sky and you're flying a 747 down to Florida or something like that, and you see something in the sky that's not supposed to be there, you look at your co-pilot and you say, was this worth making a big deal about? Because they're going to think we're fucking crazy. And now you're a commercial pilot. Now you get into psychological and mental evaluations, and you could lose your license. You could lose your job. And a lot of these pilot guys say these are things we kind of just see and we just don't know and talk about because unless they become a threat. And essentially,
it's kind of changing though. Thankfully,
it will.
Changing.
I think so. They're so pretty much their protocol is they call the tower, whatever tower is the closest to them. Like, hey, we see something on the left hand side. Do you see anything on that? And if they say, yeah, we see something, it should be all right, or no, we don't see anything, it's not coming up the radar, they kind of just let it be. But like they really should know what it is. There's no explanation why they wouldn't know something flying. It's not flying. It's supposed to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they're just checking on us. Maybe they're like our babysitters. Maybe they just want to make sure everything's going all right. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, like you said, maybe we're their pets. Maybe they just want to, like you love your dogs and your fish and your turtles, and you just want to. Like I come home, I get happy to see my dogs, and I cuddle up with them, and you hang out for a little while, and they're sitting there, and you just pet them. They're just happy to see you. They didn't think you're gonna. Every day you come home, the dogs never think you're ever gonna come home again. You know what I mean? It's like the happiest day in the world.
Like I said, I do think it's more than likely that they probably created us. And in a way, I mean, even if you're religious, that doesn't disprove. That doesn't like even the Vatican's even said like, hey, this is possible.
Maybe they created religion.
What?
Maybe they created religion for us. Maybe
I
don't.
think that could have been humans' interpretation. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Of these gods that are just. I've read Chariot of the Gods, Eric
Okay.
von Daniken's, but with the ancient astronaut theory, which is, I'm pretty much a firm believer. It makes more of a logical sense than, some of the stuff you hear about. But if you read it in their terms, like they didn't have words like spaceship. They didn't have words like it would be a chariot of fire, right? Coming out of the sky. They would use words that they knew.
Well, actually, your explanation of it being an interpretation of humans actually makes a lot more sense than anything else, because that would really explain why certain areas of this planet have different interpretations of religion.
Yeah, but they all share similarities, though.
Well, because it's the human nature to have to find a reason why something happened, right? So, and the easy one is religion. So, how did we get here? The easy explanation is God put us on this planet, right? That's the easy one. Whether you believe it or not, that's 100% your belief. But the easy explanation is God put us there, and we evolved from there. And then you could break down the science and evolution. You can end those arguments. You can go on for days. But if you have different species around the planet who have no communication with each other, who have to come up with a solution or a reason why we're here, that would explain why different religions have evolved. And then you really get into the personal stuff, why religions want to fight each other, because now they start thinking they're the supreme religion and they're wrong and they're right. I mean, I'd like to believe there's an afterlife where you go to, whether it's there or not. You really can't explain. Maybe when we die, we go to the planet in which we came from. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we're all just the spirits inside of us go back off, or they go into someone else. Who knows?
We're all energy.
Yeah,
we're all energy of some intelligence, so it goes somewhere. You can't kill.
Maybe it goes into another baby. Maybe you just relive your life again. Maybe you just go back into a spawn. Who knows?
Because you can't destroy matter. You know what I mean? We're matter, and it can break down. It can become other things, but one way or another, you're always going to kind of exist.
Yeah, we're just a big giant science experiment floating in the universe.
But more to come eventually, hopefully. I could talk about this for hours, and it would probably bore people. But I could go on about this topic for a long time.
What would you like to talk about?
We can talk about anything, my friend. There is a video I do want to show you tomorrow, though. It is from a NASA
nudie video.
Oh no, it is actually a NASA.
Go gay porn or something.
And it's from a NASA from the space station, and it shows something pretty interesting. Cool. It's a real video, but I will show you that tomorrow.
Yeah, we were talking today about how Baos sent William Shatner up to space, and there was that guy who went with him who died 2 weeks later in a plane crash. And I kind of entertained the idea of conspiracy. Well, it could have been just the guy was an amateur pilot and shit happens, right? Maybe he got cocky because he was.
I watched the video when it landed, and I will say Shatner, he's not that good of an actor. He was shocked. He was completely blown.
Shatner's seen shit that he only acted about on Hollywood studio sites for, decades. And he actually, because it's going to be really, really because they get up to a point which you could see the curvature of the earth and you could see the separation of light and darkness, which to me would be that's actually probably more of a dramatic sight than actually just being in space and looking out and just seeing darkness. To see the actual where the light and the dark kind of meet, you know what I mean? That's pretty significant, I would say. And he's 90 years old, and it's got to be weird for him because he pretended to be a spaceman for the last 70 years.
Yeah, no, but good for him though. Being that old and actually doing that, and living to see that I can't imagine what that would be like. We see it on television, and we can see all the videos on it from the Hubble or any type of telescope. It's cool. But it's I'm sure it's fucking insane to actually see that shit.
And I would totally volunteer to do that and sign up if it was a affordable price.
No shit. What is that? What is that?
$1 million to get up there. Is that what it's costing these days?
Oh, speaking of space flight, though, SpaceX might be filing for bankruptcy.
Well, that sounds about NASA. That's because that's what NASA.
Elon Musk confirms he's worried SpaceX could go bankrupt.
Anything that involves the government is a bad idea. When the government, was it to say the 7 scariest words in the history of the English language is "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you."
That does sound terrifying.
I'm from the government. I'm here.
It's what's sad though. There was a time where like that actually did mean something good.
I know. But it disappeared. You know what I mean? Listen, our founding fathers had the right idea. Like, and people looked at them like they were fucking crazy, and they were like, we want to separate. And like Barbados right now, I don't know if you read the news. Today was the first day of Barbados' freedom from for the British Empire.
Yeah.
So Barbados was one of those islands in the Caribbean that have been controlled by Great Britain or the UK for hundreds of years, just like a lot of these other islands are. And, in a sense, Australia and South Africa rather. And, all these areas where the British Empire had once touched, they still have their alliances, or their, they still respect Canada, for example, right? They still they respect and, the Queen and all that stuff. But Barbados, a little island, decided they were going to declare independence today and become their own nation and separate from the British Empire, which they've probably been in control for hundreds of years, whatever like that. So yeah, so that's a sense of freedom for these people who are finally breaking away, and they're going to be self-efficient, which United States, 400 years ago was the same exact way, or 300 and 400 when they got here. But it's
the problem too is like you talk about our founding fathers, and it's like they had the right idea, but like I've said with you before, like they didn't think that like freedom of speech, but then you give everybody a voice, but no one would have thought that like it would blow up to what we have today with social media, because then all those idiots have a voice too, and they sound fucking louder and they cause trouble.
And it's unfortunate because you should be able to, like, we should be able to be on this podcast, and you and I should be able to talk about aliens. We should be able to talk about political ideas and what we believe in, and either agree or disagree with us, whatever. But that's our forum here, right? And that's the perk of being in this fine country, which I still believe full-heartedly still has sustainability, despite what some people may think. But but that's our thing, right? So we do this thing, and the forefathers never thought there would be a podcast that you could listen to or a live stream, right?
Yeah.
They also didn't think Twitter would exist. And here's my problem. I don't disagree. I think you should be able to go on Twitter, and I think you should, or anything, any social media for this matter, and say whatever you want. And I would even go to the extent, even if it's like hateful and it's mean, I think you should be able to say it. But you have to understand there's consequences for everything said. So if you say something that's mean, you should expect people to rebut that mean statement. And you shouldn't just go, I'm reporting you.
Yes. Like I've said before, you don't have the right to not be offended.
Correct. You should be able to have, yes, if you go out there and say an outrageous statement, everyone else who sees and reads that statement has the right to say what they feel about your statement. And I don't think any of that should be controlled. What I have an issue with is with when like these social media companies start cherry picking what can be seen and what can be out, and then they shadow ban people, which is basically where they ban you without officially banning you. They just take you out of the algorithm. And I think that's an issue. And they're getting away with it because it's like this weird blue area. It's just this like blue law or gray area, you could say, that says they're not media, but they are. So if they're it's just gets so complicated when it comes down to this shit. It's either going to be on or you're going to be off. So you're either going to be able to let anyone say whatever they want to say, and then you and I could chime in if we like, or our good friend Eric Powers could go and rant and rave. But we don't shut them down. We just let them vent. And then we sit back and relax and read people what they say to him and see how he responds. And it's entertaining to us, whatever. But, we would say things to him. Like we and you said last week about how angry you are. You're going to have a heart attack because you get so angry over stupid shit.
Yeah.
But like, that's his freedom. Like, we're not telling him to stop. I'm like, whatever you want to do, man. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like,
this question, like, why are you so angry?
Yeah. And I just think that's like,
it's like you and Pete Carroll the other day.
Yeah, I got angry. Pete Carroll pissed me off. That's like,
I don't know why. I mean, I understand not like a Pete Carroll, but damn, man.
I've been mad at him since 1997. I hated him.
Yeah, man.
I mean, because I was really getting into the Patriots in '96. That Super Bowl run against the Green Bay, that was the first year I was really invested in the New England Patriots. And then Parcells leaves, and we get this Dingleberry to be the coach. And that's like when I experienced the other day, it was 20 plus years of rage. I was just building up inside. I don't think I've ever actually experienced or expressed to anyone. I think I'm just holding that Pete Carroll rage inside for all these years. And then someone said Pete Carroll's a good coach, and I just lost my fucking shit.
Hold on. Question. Sorry to go back to aliens for a second.
But yeah. Can Pete Carroll's an alien?
No. I want to try. Can I share video on this with you?
Try. See what happens. Share your screen.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, I can't. Never mind.
Do I have to do something on my end?
It says you have to. It just says host disabled participant screen sharing when I click share screen.
Let me see what happens when I go to allow files. Let's see. I'm allowing you to do everything. Let's see.
You're allowing me to record now, it says. Okay. Oh, wait a second. No, I can't share screen.
Let's see. Don't mind us. We're just troubleshooting.
Yeah. We're freestyling today.
We have no guests tonight. We're just kind of doing our thing. I go into.
It's all right if you can.
Yeah, you would think it would be easier for me just to be like, oh, if I click on you on this, does that work? Let's see if I make you. Can I make you admin? Oh, make host. Try that. I'm gonna make you a host.
You're the host. Oh shit. Yeah, I can. Okay.
Can
all right. I'm up. Okay.
All right, so we're doing this.
Can you see this video?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I froze at the exact part. Can you see my mouse too?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even a little bit.
Can you see my mouse moving around screen and moving in circles?
Yeah. It's tiny.
All right. So you see this little white dot my mouse is on?
Yep.
Now I want you to watch that white dot.
Okay.
Right? And you're gonna see this white dot kind of move here and then go boom off. Now this is our atmosphere. Right?
Okay.
This is the STS where our where we've had this is the STS missions that NASA had back in the 90s, right?
Okay.
Early 2000s. And eventually you're going to see that dot shoot off, but you're also going to see a flash like down at the bottom, which makes me think that something shot at this thing, like some sort of like anti-air shot.
So what's this curvature? Is this the Earth?
Yes, it's the Earth, right?
Okay.
Now everything else kind of moves like ice particles, like ice. All these other white ones here, ice. You could explain that, but this little white one right here, I want you to watch, and you're going to see something kind of shoot by it as if it got like watch. Just watch this.
All right.
See it moving?
Yep. Looks like an airplane in the sky, right? It's like kind of just.
Now watch.
See a flag.
Gone.
Oh.
And something shot up past
something shot up. Oh shit.
So it's like was something.
So that looks like a rocket.
So this looks but this looks like a UFO because it stops, boom, beeline, gone.
Okay.
Rocket, like.
So it looks like they seen something coming towards it and it took the fuck off.
Yeah, that shows intelligence. That shows me intelligence. That's not an ice particle.
Damn.
Because it actually stops. Like it stops and then makes the decision, wait, I'm moving, something's gonna happen. Gone, rocket, boom.
Well, the flash kind of sets it off too, because it looks like it's almost like a it's because light travels faster than sound. Obviously, you see the flash, then it goes up, right? So it's like
that's weird, right? Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah, it's kind of fucking crazy. And then we're back. Look at this. Ooh, look at this. We're using the technology. The aliens would be proud. Now we're just gonna put some mature gay porn on here, and we're really gonna go.
That's all we need. I like that. That was a cool experiment.
Yeah. No, we should do that more often because that makes us more interactive.
Yes. It makes us look so smart.
Yeah, we're actually people are gonna listen to us. But, oh my god, these guys actually know what they're talking about.
How do I flip it back to you? What'd you do?
We're back. Well, we're back.
But I'm still the host. If I wanted to put host back to you,
I guess.
Oh, advanced share options. Is that it?
Maybe. Let's see if I.
There is a thing here. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Look at that shit.
Oh wow, that's crazy. No, yeah, because I can't. I have no access on you now. I guess. Like if you click on my name in the participating box, you can make me a host again. I guess I don't know. I'm still recording, so I guess I don't know what matters. But interesting. Maybe I could co-host you. We could, which we probably should set up anyways. You got to figure out how to do that, but that way you can just share shit. And I guess that'd be actually pretty convenient if we have like someone on and we need to show him something, and we just get. It actually looks pretty cool. We just get moved to the side, and then so we back
to being host.
Yeah. How the fuck does that work? Zoom. We didn't know what Zoom was until God, have we been
COVID. Like a year months? Ago. Yeah.
More like a year and a half, right? I think we busted this out in April of 2020. We're almost in 2022. Isn't that crazy? I mean, my kid's 2 years old. When this all started, he was like 3 months old.
God. Yeah, I know. I remember the crying and the dogs and the
revere. And now he just goes to sleep. Now I lost my room because of something else that's happening pretty soon. But it goes without saying. I'm actually not really. It actually might actually work out better because there's heat in this room and there's actual real windows that could actually put an air conditioning. So it actually might not be so bad. But, I got to work on it. I got a year or so. But things to come. That's a little foreshadowing right there for you people who watch the show. Most of the people who are our friends already know anyway. So,
how's that? How's the beer coming? Still good? Some beers, it's like you have a sip or two, and you're like, "This is good," and then you keep drinking, and you're like, "I think I'm done."
It's good. I mean, I couldn't have more than this bottle, I guess you could say, and I probably wouldn't buy this again. Here's the thing: I like stouts, but it's a very flowerful finish to it. It's very floral finish, if that makes any sense. It's very like, do you know if you can interpret the way you smell flowers into a taste? That's kind of the finish to it. And I'm not a big whiskey guy, and it's aged in bourbon barrels, so I'm getting hints of like whiskey flavors as well, which they're all right. Like I can feel them burning on the end of my tongue. I mean, it is 13% alcohol for this fucking beer. It's basically like drinking wine. So when I finish this bottle, it's like finishing a bottle of wine. But I'm at 12.2 percent. But and let's see, it's 1 pint, 9 fluid ounces, so it's equivalent to a beer and a half in this bottle, which understandably is how much wine I drink on a given. Like we said, we just celebrated Thanksgiving last week, and we were supposed to have a show the night before Thanksgiving, and we went from having a live show to doing a show in our own place to Adam and I both going off into a distance and be able to compose ourselves in order to do a show, which is probably beneficial. We I guess canceled out, so we weren't really hurting anyone except for you, the viewers, but you get most of you watch us anyways days later on Facebook or months later on YouTube. So it doesn't really matter.
It definitely would have been one for the record books, that's for sure.
God, if this shit we're talking about tonight, imagine what we've been talking about last week.
It would have been this times like more a million spiritual. It would have been like insightfulness.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little upset about the Ron Jeremy shit going on. Like we touched upon that briefly on our exit today at the office, but I
I know.
So like, all right, if you guys know who, my wife had no idea who Ron Jeremy was because I was trying to tell the story today that I had his phone number and we would prank call him for like 2 weeks straight, and he finally picked up once, and I had a conversation with him, and he laughed and hung up on me and changed his number. So if you don't know who Ron Jeremy was, he was this iconic porn star from the late 70s, early 80s. He was a fat guy who had a really bad hairline and a big puffy mustache. He was the opposite of what you would think of a porn star would look like, but he had a huge cock. And that was his selling point, I guess you could say, right? And this was at a time where porn wasn't as mainstream. It was very, I guess you just had the money to do porn. Is that Ron Jeremy behind you? There he is.
Run!
It's like Santa Claus. Like, he looks terrible. I mean, he doesn't even look like what he looked like. Yeah, so he has several charges against him for rape, and from 15 to 51, right? You said?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's just too many of them to really ignore.
So do you think, all right, so say there's like 100 of them. 50 of them are probably real. 50% of them probably aren't. Yeah. I mean, even if the 50 that are real, what the fuck happened? Do you think they were like, now this is where I start breaking things down. All right. Now let's put aside the minors, right? Let's make the minors go away and just think about like people who are like consent, so age 18 plus. Some of them do you think there are people who are like have regret for doing movies with him who are now saying he raped them?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, like anything, when this happens,
everyone comes out of the woodwork, right? And there's
yeah, it takes one person to kind of blow
yeah.
it off of everything. Because I understand, like, kind of not wanting to be like the person that kind of it's awkward, you know.
Now, I'm
The whole
sure
thing
there's
like
some
that.
allegations that are true. I'm sure he maybe forced himself on someone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think any celebrity at that point has this egotistical mentality to them that they can get anyone they want, and no is not an option for them.
But that's why I never believed Kesha. Like, remember Kesha when she accused her producer of? Because here's the thing. Remember, she did that, and usually when somebody comes forward and accuses somebody of sexual allegation, sexual misconduct, like then everybody else says, "Yeah, like that did happen." Nobody else did after that. Remember?
Yeah, when no one knew who Kesha was prior.
No, they did.
I mean,
She was no. She was. I think that she was trying to do it to get out of a record deal.
I mean,
Everybody.
it's a possibility too. I mean, because Kesha was this like broad that came out. So basically, the history of Kesha, it was she was the backup vocals on the Flow Rider song "Spin Me Right Round," but she wasn't credited to that song. So she's the girl that goes, "You spin me right round," and you hear the girl's voice in the back from like 2009.
Yeah,
So
she had a couple hits though.
no, but that's where her start was. She was a non-credited
Yes.
voice to the Flow Rider song. And then she had her album that popped up, and she did the one
Tick
"Wake Up
tock
in
on
the
the clock.
Morning and You Feel Like Peter." Yeah, that whole fucking
Yeah.
shit that went on, right? So we all
Yeah.
dealt with that for a couple of years. And then she had a couple hits from that album, and maybe a couple of albums. It's weird. I don't really know albums these days because people just release singles left and right. I don't even know if they're even on albums. I don't even know if artists even release albums anymore, to be honest with you.
It's fucked up. I know.
But she has some hits. I've spun a few of her tunes, and she had an annoying voice. She reminded me of one of my friend's sisters, who's had a kind of an annoying voice like her, and that was about it. But like then when you said like then they disappear, right? So this is the typical Hollywood. I'm in the main street, and all of a sudden no one thinks I'm relevant anymore, so I got to do something to make me relevant, right? So perhaps this was her way of trying to be relevant again. Maybe she says, "Well, the guy diddled me." Did he really
Yeah.
diddle? I mean,
But like I
you
feel like
think
the
he would
point
have diddled,
is
but he would have diddled with more people. You think, right? You know,
exactly. It's never that person's first time. Let's face it. If
no,
they did do that, there was probably other people. And when she accused him, nobody else came forward.
no. It was like, yeah, I was
You
diddled
know?
by this guy. It was kind of like you were just scapegoating this guy, and she got a little bit of a burst of notability for a little while, and then she kind of just disappeared again. So I mean, I really, if you really want to get psychologically deep into the idea of Kesha, I blame her mother for being such a stage mom to like pushing this bride to like push, because she came
Yeah.
from like nothing. And kind of like the Britney Spears thing where her dad was a cook at the Waffle House. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my daughter has some talent. Let's push this to the X degree. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I remember for the longest time before I saw her, like I mean, remember she had her S was a cash symbol,
Yeah.
and I heard her voice and I just automatically thought she was a black chick.
Ooh.
And then when I saw her, I was like, "It's a white girl." I was like,
I thought she had the most annoying voice ever. Like this reminded me of my friend's sister who had a kind of a similar like baby. Yeah, it's like this how you really talk. Like this is the most unattractive shit I've ever dealt with in my life right now. But yeah, it just oh god, it's just I don't understand. It's just I would hate to be a celebrity. I feel like it's got to be trying, right? Because you figure, especially when you're a young kid, like I would never push my kids in the show business. I guess you could say I would never be like someone who's like going out of my way to push my like kids into being, anything, right?
yeah,
Because I don't think I would be able to live with myself as a father to deal with like the letdown these children may have once they're not relevant anymore, right? Because if you look at celebrities and you look at the patterns, a lot of celebrities have parents that are celebrities whose parents were celebrities, and it's kind of like this natural like you're gonna get the gig because your father was Tom Hanks, so all of a sudden Tom Hanks kids get gigs, and then his kid will get a gig, and it has nothing to do with your talent ability, it just has to do with your namesake. And there's probably a kid from South Central LA who grew up in the projects who has no idea how to, live in society, but he's a better actor than Tom Hanks's kid. But Tom Hanks' kid will get the gig because of the namesake, right? So
yeah.
I don't think I could have a straight conversation with my kids and to tell them that they're not that good. because or you are that good, but you just don't have the ability to, you don't have the namesake, or you don't have the pull to it, and to let them down that way, which is a very humbling thing for someone, right? To like, to realize that this is all just a charade and it's not a game. It has nothing to do with skills. It has to do with like, you know what I mean? Who you know. It's not like sports, where if you really excel in sports, most likely than not, you're going to be able to get recognized, and someone's going to be able to put you in a position to do further or better than, what you're doing. But like acting and music and shit like that, it's, how many bad actors have, like Nicolas Cage? I mean, if his uncle wasn't fucking, who's his fucking, his uncle's,
Francis Ford Coppola.
Coppola, yeah.
Director, yeah.
You think Nick Cage, if he was like you and I's brother, would be able to be as successful as he was with his acting ability?
It's true. Well, even look at the bald ones.
Really,
we all know there's only one good one.
Yeah.
And
he killed someone.
They're sucking at the teat of Alec, yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's sad because I think it's worse these days too, right? Because like when you think about it, like Billy Joel started as this piano player playing at a lounge somewhere in New York City, and he established himself to be this really successful musician. But nowadays that doesn't exist. You can't do that. You can't be playing piano at some bar in Brooklyn and be successful. It doesn't happen that way unless someone videotapes you and put you on TikTok, right? But then you look at like the Meikle family, right? Was it Charlie, our friend from Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh, God, yeah.
So all she used to do was post pictures of her drinking Dunkin' Donuts and doing dances and shit, right? And then all of a sudden, her mother and father have a podcast. That's terrible, by the way. It's one of the worst podcasts I ever listened to, but I listen to every week because I listen to. It's like watching 9/11 footage. It's like you can't turn away. It's horrific, but for some reason you can't shut it off because you're so involved in it, right? And yes, I do compare the Meikles podcast to 9/11 because it's about the same. Because it's fucking terrible. It's horrible.
It's
a train wreck. It's a mother and father who they're out of touch so much of society. They have no idea what's going on. Like they found out that their daughter was this. It's kind of like the Spears family, right? Brittany all of a sudden shoots off, and now they moved the whole family from Connecticut to LA so they get more opportunities and stuff. And you're basically just using your daughters and just driving them to the ground, and you're gonna fuck them up long term. I would never do that to my kid at all, because I think that's child abuse in a sense, right?
It is.
If they're a natural talent, if my kid went out there, went to college, and I never pushed him, and all of a sudden he got like recognized by like, Broadway, or someone thought he was very good at what he did, and I would encourage it and I would support it, but I would never push him to the point where, I would make him do something they didn't want to do. Let him make your own decision.
Let him sample it. Yeah.
Yeah. The best is, who's the guy who's in Hangover? Bradley Cooper, right? Bradley Cooper was a guy who really wanted to be an actor, so he pushed his way through acting school, and he did all he had to do, and he got recognized. He got some small gigs, and that's how he is. Like, I think that's pretty respectable. That's pretty cool. He didn't go on a namesake. He didn't run on someone's, coattails on how to do it. He's a guy who's really does something really good. Good for him. Yeah. Successful. Yeah. But he won't. But if he never made it to that point, I don't think he would have the depression and the downfall, because like no one really was pushing him. He just kind of just don't want to do his thing. You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
Like this fucking podcast we've been doing for 20 years. You think someone would eventually pick us up, right? At some point, you think someone's going to be like, you know what? These guys know what they're doing. They're committed. Give us the commitment award. You know what I mean?
Lifetime Achievement Commitment Award.
Let us just once a week come join you. Right? I don't know. Fuck, who knows? But we're happy. We just do it as a hobby, right?
We're getting by.
It's an excuse for us to drink on a Wednesday.
Exactly.
Do our own little things on the side. I don't get to deal with my wife downstairs. Don't tell her. Okay, it's all right. We're all happy. She didn't come barging in this week like she did last couple weeks ago.
Well, that was towards the end anyway. We were done.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Something. She was very.
Well, you're explaining how your life is over because you're getting
very excited.
Station.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do, my friend?
And like that, it's an hour, and you guys are entertained.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable, and I got. Oh, I almost finished the bottle. I can't really tell in the light. I got about a third left, so I'm probably gonna be. I tell you, I'm gonna be banged up tomorrow at work. So
you will be.
Mr. Malley, anything you plug in there? How's the world?
Always, you can check out the Rolling Potato on YouTube. Working on a new video. Should be out in a couple weeks. It's already been
fabulous.
Filmed. This is edited.
Editing's the worst part. I got working on a video right now. I got to do a short little video for some news that's happening, and I'm trying to edit it. I'm trying to work with a 2-year-old as my as part of my video, and he's not very cooperative.
Is this baseball related? Well, your other channel?
No, this is personal news related. That we haven't fully.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm trying to get the little guy involved in this little short that I'm making, and he's not very. This 2-year-old does not want to. Well, almost 2 years. He'll be 2 years old on Saturday. He does not want to cooperate with me very well. He's being a diva, if you will.
Well, I mean, he's 2-year-old, so it's hard to
navigate
that one.
Trying to direct him. He doesn't want to take direction. I don't think Hollywood's in his future, to be honest with you, because the way he takes direction is not good unless he thinks he's Leonardo DiCaprio. But if he is, good for him for slinging all those girls.
We should talk about it more next week. But hey, if you're looking for material for your baseball channel, you should probably going into the strike. You should probably do something about that.
Oh, midnight tonight, baseball strike starts. So hopefully it's not like 94. Hopefully we can. Me and you, we play baseball. Hopefully they can get the season off for the sake of you and I to enjoy baseball in this upcoming spring. As my wife said, what are they striking about? I'm like, I just want more money. And she's like, wow, we're really going to make our son play professional baseball then. I'm like, yeah, right. Don't get it.
No shit.
So good luck, MLB. Whirlwind Potato. You can catch me on the Baseball Fanatic on YouTube, the Wicked Explorers on YouTube, the Wicked Bricksters on YouTube, the ID Show on YouTube. So whatever your fancy is, and then we'll see you guys. We got a guest. Next week we get a guest. We have guests for the next 2 weeks.
Awesome.
2 weeks from now we got a really special guest. You guys are staying for that.
I know who that is.
All right, see you guys later. Toodaloo, motherfuckers. Bye.